is. There it is. Welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Eddie Pods coming to you for our number 5 podcast of How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm your host. My co-host is Tye White.
How you doing, everybody?
Tye is from?
I am from Magic Junk and Cleaning. We are a moving junk removal and cleaning company. We are the one-stop shop. If you're trying to sell a house, if you're trying to get somebody moved out, if you're trying to get your parents into a senior facility, you don't know what to do with all this stuff. They've been there for 100 years. I'm the person who to call.
What's your number, Tye?
My number is 631-615-3853, and you can reach me at themagicjunk.com.
So the reason we're here is we're trying to take the book that I wrote about my 20 years of sales experience and try to share some of the nuggets from that book with an audience of more Tye's crowd, the younger crowd, because I'm on the other side of that sales cycle. He's on the young side. And the idea is to take some ideas out of the book and share them with the audience and, tell some fun stories along the way.
Oh, yeah.
We have a great guest today. So our guest today is from a company called Christopher Allen Clothier. To me, he's Chris Cartezano, part of my networking group on Tuesday morning. 2 years ago, I ran into some extra side hustle cash and decided I wanted to improve my image. I wanted to look better, feel sharper when I was out doing the networking that I do. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to buy a sport coat. She's like, how much is it? I'm like, it's like $700. And she just looked at me like, damn, I've never spent that on a dress or shoes, but your money, you do what you want to do. And when I finally had Chris come over and size me up, made it real, my wife came inside, wrote a check to him for get him a shirt too. Get a shirt with it.
Yeah,
so
because it's an experience.
All the shirts that I have come with my little monogram, but it's the way it makes me feel when I'm out. Yeah. I feel different. I feel more confident than I ever did. I feel like I look better. It makes me feel better. And I try to share that with other guys my age who maybe we're dressing like I used to.
Yeah.
And trying to bring them a little forward, look a little better, look a little sharper. So we're gonna have Chris come out in a little bit. Right now, we're gonna jump into chapter 4, Eddie Pretzels. So that's where these nicknames start coming from in my sales career.
Yeah.
Eddie Pretzels was a fresh pretzel route that I bought right after I had hip surgery. My oldest daughter, who was supposed to be sitting there today and isn't, I bought this route right after I had hip surgery, and my 15-year-old daughter was my driver. Okay. And the route was putting pretzels in 7-Elevens and coming back the next day and hope that they sold. The problem with the model there was that you had to take back returns. So you had to pay for $25 to put them in there. But whatever they took back, that's just your money going in the garbage. And I had like 15 routes, 15 stops, and a couple of small other jobs. And it just seemed like I was working really hard, but I wasn't really making any money. And we went to a Super Bowl party at a friend's house, and they were all bragging about their job. And I didn't have too much to brag about other than I only work 6 hours a day. Yeah. Because you get up early, you do your route. Well, on the ride home, my wife decided to bring that conversation back up again and said, maybe if you tried something different, you'd have more success. And it just, the way she said it was so nice. It was caring, but it was like, what's working, what's not working. So in that chapter, it talks about remaking your business, a different model altogether. So what I did was, out of the 30 stops, I decided to pare it down to 10, keep my top 10. The only place I was really making money was in school stores, a couple of football teams. And then I decided, okay, well, I need to be something better than what they're doing. They're all using frozen pretzels. I'm a fresh pretzel guy. I come right from the bakery every morning. I decided I was going to attack that market that winter. It was just right after the Super Bowl. Spring's coming, Little League's coming, soccer is coming. I started doing pre-Google days. I started doing homework on the internet, tracking down all the soccer teams I could find, all the Little League teams, and asked if I could come to their, I know from being a coach that they have meetings at the beginning of the year to see who's volunteering for who's doing this. And there's always someone who's working the snack bar. So it starts with one league saying, yeah, come on in. And I prepared. I got 2 dozen pretzels. It was a 7 o'clock meeting. Salted them up, heated them up in my oven, wrapped them up in foil, put them in the travel bag, brought a case of water with me. And then I go into the car and I put them in my warmer to keep warm.
Yeah, yeah.
So I travel all the way out there, still got 1 pretzels. I get in, I got my bag sitting there, and they're doing their intros and whatnot, and they give me the opportunity to speak. And the speak was, would you rather this or what you've been serving? And with that, I started to Frisbee all the pretzels out to everybody who was there. And while they started munching,
eating warm, hot
pretzels, here's a bottle of water to wash it down.
Yeah.
I have their attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can make my real presentation and just blow them out of the water, which I offered them fresh delivery every day. I offered them brand new pretzel machines or brand new reconditioned pretzel machines. And I offered that this could only be done if they gave me a key to their snack shop, because I need to do this in the morning. I don't work nights, and the games are at night and Saturdays. So they all agreed, one after another, after another, after another, until, I bought the route. It was selling 15,000 pretzels a year. My second year in, I was up to $500,000.
Wow.
By the fourth year, $750,000 in pretzels.
In pretzels.
In pretzels.
Yeah, based on how you attacked it. Yeah.
The name Eddie Pretzels, because I was being boisterous and saying I'll give everyone a machine, I had to now go buy machines. So this is back in the days of Craigslist. And I went on to Craigslist and said, you need to create a name. Eddie Pretzels.
Yeah.
Literally, and I was sending out, bidding on all these machines and just a moniker that stuck for the 4 years that I was doing the business, making it happen. But to me, it's about the branding. It's about branding yourself.
Yeah, and being able to, with me, the way I started my business, it was completely junk removal, and which was great in the spring, in the summer. Everyone's cleaning out, everyone's clearing out, but sometimes it tends to dip. So adding the moving, adding the cleaning, that was something that was able to keep me afloat and at the same pace, and not have to go through those dips, because this might pick up and then the moving picks up and then, junk removal. Obviously it's spring now. It's about to, go crazy. All the spring cleaning, all the summer cleanings, all the parties, after holiday cleanups and stuff. But I had to, I had that same thing. I wanted to stick to one thing, and I'm like, no, I got to pivot. I got to figure out how to, deal with these dips.
So the action theory in the book, I make it really clear, and it says, don't be afraid to remake your business model.
Yeah.
If you're not killing it, you're not crushing it, you got to change.
Yeah.
You could keep doing the same thing wrong over and over. It's never going to get to be the right thing.
Yeah. Well, it reminds what your wife was to you in that moment was what you were to me coming into your office, right. And you were like, all right, hold on, wait, slow down. Let's go over this whole thing real quick. How you saying this? How you saying that? And just little tweaks.
Tweaks.
It was like,
and
you gotta be willing to listen though. You gotta be willing to take that constructive criticism and stuff.
I was down in Florida last week, and I was with corporate leadership, and we had roundtable sessions with 10, 15 people at a time.
Yeah.
And, people kept asking me, because I'm very known down there, like, what is your secret? And to me, it's that memorable presentation, whether it's in a networking meeting, whether it's in a future customer's office, whether it's at the mall. Make the presentation memorable. Mm-hmm. That's the action statement from the book as well. And it's something I've really honed in on, like, make the phone call memorable. Make every interaction memorable to where it's never a doubt why people want to do business with you, and it has nothing to do with your price. Nothing.
Yeah, it's about the impression that you left. I think you brought me on my first actual presentation. I've had other sales jobs and done presentations, but I'm talking about for my company to go in front of, realtors and an office full of people and just talk us.
Right.
And I still have people that remember us from a few of those little meetings that we had, because we set up a memorable presentation.
That's so key. And again, I did use theatrics with those pretzels, but it was intentional.
Yeah.
What is the best way to someone's heart besides love? Food. I tell a story in the book that the pretzel company put someone in my truck and let them drive my route so I could go build them routes in the worst neighborhoods of Queens and Brooklyn, door to door. And I literally walked into schools. This was, this is the 2000s. They had metal detectors then. Mm-hmm. And I'd literally walk in and they look at me and, what do you want? I'm like, you hungry? What do you need? I need to get to the front office. I'm walking down there. Get to the front office. Woman comes to the table. Can I help you? Are you hungry? Would you like a pretzel? It was like giving them something before you ask for something. Yeah. I'm here giving you my amazing product, which I love being the pretzel guy. Those things were fresh out of the oven. If you've never been to a pretzel factory, to just
you probably
literally
brought some
take
to my school when I was.
Well, it's funny you say that.
I remember those school pretzels, man.
One of my success stories that's in the book is about I had a school store, and it was a Brentwood School District. Mm-hmm. And the woman got ill and had to shut the store for 2 months while she went in for surgery. Word got back to the purchasing department that the kids wanted pretzels because Mrs., I don't even remember her name, was out on leave and the pretzel guy wasn't coming. And I got a phone call from the Brentwood School District saying, can we talk? And I came in there and they said, tell us about what you're doing. And then the woman says, how many schools could you do? And I said, how many do you have? She goes, 23. Mm-hmm. I said, I can do 23. She goes, you can get me a new machine in all 23 schools.
Schools, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, I want you to go visit. And she handed me a list of all the lunch ladies that run all 23 kitchens. They welcomed me in so nicely. Some schools took 10 a day, some took 15. But I went from serving 50 in the school store to 350 to the school district. It put me on the map. Yeah. It made me like, holy crap, I could really multiply this business.
Yeah, Eddie Pretzels came alive.
Came alive.
That's awesome, though, man. To think that you could take something like pretzels and just blow it up like that. By being just creative, though. You have to be creative. You could sell anything if you're creative.
The worst part was it was still just quarters. Yeah. And I realized that I needed to get into a business that sold something that was worth more than a quarter per unit. That's really the bottom line. Yeah. I mean, I ended up selling the business and I put in a beautiful pool in my backyard because I sold the business. But when you're only making quarters, it's really hard to make a good living. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you had the right idea. You were like, listen, I'll take this exact same mentality and turn those quarters into dollars. And,
So awesome. That was a great story. And I don't know if Ty saw his text from me the other day. So we're gonna do trade show tips right now. But we're coming up on we just passed a year on 2 significant milestones. One was the networking event that we met at. I sent you that. All in one. I sent you the picture the other day. Yeah. Because it came up on my feed that this is your anniversary. It's been a year. It's been a year. So that was pretty cool. And then the week later, you and I walked the Libby trade show.
That's where I met Chris.
That's where we met Chris. How's that for a tie into this week? So the Libby show's coming up again real soon. Yeah. Do you have a booth?
Not this year.
Okay. We'll walk it with us.
That's a big one, man.
Yeah, that's a big one. But
sold out very quickly.
It did sell out very quickly. So trade show tips. That's why we're heading down that road of the conversation. Things that I have in my book. You just heard from Chris saying, it's sold out. Know your trade show schedule at the end of the year. What am I doing in this year? Use your physical year as your guide to when I do things. So during the course of 2024, I have to, in December, by the first week of January, put in my request. Otherwise, nothing gets approved. Mm-hmm. So I've been taught to do it early. Early gives you choice of where you get to sit, where your table is. Yeah. You want to be the guy by the bathroom or you want to be the guy by the bar? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you want to be on a corner or you want to be stuck in the back in the middle where maybe people aren't as much foot traffic? So registering early is really like a big tip. Like people don't take it seriously. I just got back from Vegas. We got the registration for next year's show. I sent it to my boss. I said, I think we should do this not in January of a February show. How about we do it now? Because I literally had the furthest booth from the furthest spot, the furthest away from my hotel than we could have gotten. It was in 4 buildings at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I literally was, and again, we had great foot traffic. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't in the big room. I wasn't because I didn't do it early enough.
Yeah.
So, that's a real big key. And when you are picking, each floor, you should find out who the bigger sponsors are. So I think Ford and Chevy had spent like $1 million at this show to have 2 or 3 of their trucks laid out on the floor. You want to take a look at who's there and where they are.
Yeah.
Because you want to be near them because they're the ones who are going to draw a lot of attention. More attention than you would on your own.
Yeah.
So
and get there as early as possible because you can see who's who very early,
One of the things that I saw, once again, and it happened with one of my teammates, people staying focused at a trade show. And what I mean by that is you or your company spent money for you to be there. In my mind, I am the company. I need an ROI. Well, ROI means you give it your best effort. And I won't use a name, Larry. You'll edit that later. We're at the show. It opened up at 9 o'clock. At 9:15, the man pulls out his computer on the little side table, opens his computer, and starts working. And I literally went over and I said just like this, "What the fuck are you doing?" He says, "Oh, someone just emailed me. I got an order, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Where are you?"
Yeah, how many people just walk past your table?
That was my next line. "Oh, I saw him." Like, yeah, but you didn't talk to them. You didn't connect with them. They just walked right by us. I said, "Put your computer away. You take it out. I'll give you a lunch break. Take it out on lunch if you need to. Or back at your hotel tonight. We have 6 hours on this floor to make as many connections as possible. I paid $5,000 to be here. I'm going to do as much as I can to make sure my bosses know I'm going to get an ROI and we're going to do it bigger and better next year."
Yeah.
So staying focused. Staying focused is very key.
It's hard to do sometimes. I know sometimes you're at a long show and, you get a little.
It's the distractions that you allow yourself to put in front of you. Your phone, your computer. My phone is always upside down and off. My computer doesn't even leave the hotel room. I'm not even kidding you. I have no time for that.
Yeah, I learned my lesson about that, bringing your computer down to the table, because then it's like emails.
What do you do?
You're like twitching because you got stuff coming in, and it's always great because you meet good people. You got names and stuff coming right in. You want to log things, but just focus. There's a time for everything.
And this actually ties back into my presentation. The last tip was be memorable.
Yeah,
one way or another, and it is an art. Walking a trade show or being behind the booth, it is an art. And there are different. You had the fun of walking with me at that Libby show.
Yeah,
we knew people. We made great new connections. You saw the flow of it. You saw how my pitch changed from each different vendor that was there that was doing different things that could possibly fit in my world. Those are the fun parts about the show.
Well, that was good practice for me because my next show was the expo.
It was the
Melville Chamber Expo. Which I actually had a booth at, and from walking with you through Libby, just taking little bits and pieces, I closed a couple deals that day.
I
and
remember
was working with companies that week right after Melville.
If I'm not mistaken, Dawn Cameron had something for you right on the floor.
Yeah,
she hooked you up with someone right on the floor.
Right
you
there.
had met her once before somewhere else, and when the connection was there with me, it was like, holy crap, like.
And then Peter from the disaster relief, calls me for the pickups and stuff all the time. I'm just like, wow. That first week, I made my money back for the table.
There you go. And
times 2.
That's the ROI.
It was great.
And that's what my bosses, they ask me. They don't have to. I keep track of it myself. I sold this year, and I'm pissed because I was doing my reconciliation for my March orders, and the order that I booked on the floor got canceled. Turned out that they couldn't have a permit. They weren't allowed to have the container.
Was that 40 container deal?
No, it was a solo one, but the woman's husband was at the show in Vegas, took my card, took a picture of it, sent it to his wife. She called me that afternoon. My husband was just at your booth. I need a container in Jersey. Can you help me? Absolutely. I'll call you at 5:30 when I'm back in my office, the hotel room. Yeah. And booked the order, and then she told me she was having problems with the town getting permits, and I didn't know it got canceled because you know what it is? I have such good experience with my clients. They don't want to disappoint me.
Yeah.
So they're chicken to call me and say, "Sorry, Eddie, it canceled." It's part of the job.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine, but they feel bad, and I respect that because that's kind of cool that I don't have to take the bad news. Somebody else does. I just don't find out right away. Like I said, I was doing my reconciliation this morning. Like, Oh, that was the one I called. It meant something to me. I sold it off the showroom floor, man.
We've got Lake George coming up though, right? Sampo?
We do. We got 2.5 days at a resort right in the village of Lake George. It's Sampo. It is strictly procurement. Anyone who's in procurement, whether it be government, education, even big companies, this is where you go to meet your vendors. It's designed to meet the vendors. Now they do CEU classes in between. So we have trade show hours, we have CEU times, we have lunches, we have dinners. We even get a boat ride. We got a boat ride on the first night we're there, which is pretty exciting. So we got some networking tips for that right here.
Good segue.
Good segue. So people like that have heard a couple of the podcasts that we've let out have actually commented that you're being very bold by what you're saying, but what you're saying is really the truth. But people really don't like to hear negative things about themselves or being put down in a public manner where other people can hear it. So I'm taking that time to do it here.
This
so no one takes offense.
To do. This, tell the truth, man. We're having real conversations here.
When I'm on the phone, when I'm in person,
I
consciously smile. I consciously smile.
Makes a difference.
Puts you in a better mood. It puts you in a better spirit. People see you smiling. They associate you with positivity. They think that you're a magnet to good stuff. That you're having a good time. Why else would you be smiling? You're having a good time.
You can hear if a person is smiling, but just by their tone, you can hear if they're smiling or they're just, Did
I yell at you once for that?
Yeah. You were like,
you came into my office angry, and all right, I'm going to start making calls. And you jumped into your first call, and I'm like, tone it down, Tiger, tone it down. You weren't smiling on that call, and you were like ready to. Yeah, you're right, because it comes through.
It does come through. You
that's
snap out of it.
That's a big one. Making sure you're smiling. Like I said, even when you're just on the phone, it comes through. Yeah. There's a guy on my team. Not going to say his name, Kevin. We'll edit it later. You would swear that every call that we're on, the world is just a bummer, just a big bummer. Like his facial expression is, it's a bummer, and it's like, you're not meant for sales. Sales is meant for people who know how to smile, shake hands, be exuberant in some way or another. You don't have to be over the top.
Yeah, but not nobody's perfect. For everybody, I'm sure at some point, some days are harder to turn that on than others.
Of course,
but for the most part, this is what you do, man. You got to be upbeat. You got to find something to do in the morning or find a routine to get you pumped up into that zone, whether it's what you're listening to. I tell people that all the time. Stop listening to this senseless music and stuff all the time. Right. Listen to some inspirational stuff. It'll just kind of make you speak differently. No,
you're right. You're 100% right. The other thing that you can learn is decompartmentalize your problems.
Yeah.
Have the this sucks box where these things, my job, my people, this is what sucks. Here's the good box. This is what's going on that's really good. And you have to be able to jump between the two. And, my boss has always commented to me that regardless of what the back office issues are, that's over here. I'm still over here kicking it, man.
Yeah.
I may be angry over here and frustrated.
You can't live over there. You can't live over there.
And too many people do.
Yeah.
And they stay there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a problem. Stand up tall.
Yeah.
I hate slouchers.
Yeah.
I hate hunters.
Yeah.
I like people who stand up taller. Walk proud, man. Stand up
proud,
tall.
head high.
Head high.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. You don't have to flex. I do once in a while.
But but you don't want to be walking around a trade show like you're just kicking some rocks around with your head down, hands in your pockets.
And the only time it comes up is when they pull out a business card. Be engaging. Yeah. Obviously, if you're not engaged, I want to help Erica because she goes to networking events and she's new at it and she's learning. But the night I met her, she was in my sphere, as I've said before, and it was okay. I can relax. I can just be myself. And, there's no stress in being engaging.
Yeah,
you feel comfortable around people. And the last and not least, what's your follow up look like? What does it look like? When does it look like? Those things are important.
Yeah.
The timing of it. I know people, including myself, who business cards sit on my desk for way too long. Should have really made that follow up.
Should have made that follow up.
Should have made that follow up. And that's why they stay on my desk until I actually do it.
Yeah.
So it's a constant reminder, loser, make your calls.
So what I've done is I built like a separate pipeline for that, I try to treat it just like a sales pipeline.
Right.
When it comes to, but it's a business development pipeline where I load them up, put them in follow up as if they're in a quote requested bottle, folder or something, and just attack it the same way. But when do you do it and how aggressive do you, that's also.
I'll take that in my classes when they call and say they want to hire me for some training. We'll do it then. Leave them hanging a little bit. Hey, Ty, what time is it?
Is it old-fashioned time?
It's old-fashioned time.
We have our buddy Chris coming down for old-fashioned today.
Why are we doing old-fashioned?
The reason that we do old-fashioned is because we always figure out a new way to do business that works and an old way to do business that works. And that kind of represents our friendship. It's what we drink. It's what we had at that first all-in-one marketing meeting. And it just fits us, man. We got, old-fashioned and new-fashioned.
So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to have Chris Cartezano come out and have a drink with us and have a conversation.
Awesome.
There it is. We're back. Episode number 5, How to Become a Sales Warrior. Ty White here with our new guest, Christopher Cartezano from Christopher Allen Clothier. How are you, Chris?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me today, guys.
No problem.
You landed inside old-fashioned time. So, Ty, why don't you lead us through old-fashioned time?
Old-fashioned time, always a new way to do business and an old way to do business that works. So today, I just wanted to open up a discussion about digital marketing versus canvassing, which is, I started in sales. I learned about sales through canvassing for remodeling companies. And that's how I always felt is going door to door, actually touching people was the best way to get your point across, spread news about what you're doing, bring awareness about what you're doing, rather than digital marketing works as well. That's how I started my business. But how do you feel the parallel?
Well, there is a chapter in the book, chapter 2, where I went door to door to sell those candles to play on the baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my first exposure to literally, knock, knock, did you buy a candle from me? And in the book, I had to sell 43 candles to make the money for the team. I sold 250 candles.
Blew it out.
Didn't make the team and pocketed $750.
Nice.
It was my profit. But I never had to do it again.
Yeah.
That was the only time in my life I ever went door to door. What about you? You ever do door to door?
That's how I got started. My first job out of college was door to door in combination with cold calling, phone sales.
Yeah.
But I had assigned territory. And so this is now, I'm Eddie's age.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to the late 80s. And I would go from business to business and ask for a business card of the person that I needed to speak to, and leave my card as well. And then either follow up or also cold call people within my territory as well. And then I also did that when I first got into the business that I'm in now. I took what I learned and transitioned that to get started in this business.
I'm guessing that's before Zoom Info, when you can just get the
Just a little.
Way before Zoom
You can get the whole company directory.
So I lied, because when I started with Pods, my immediate general manager said to me, he goes, listen, what I want you to do is just go out, look up again, pre-Google, go online, find every restoration company on Long Island and go say hello. So that's door to door, but it was kind of lasered in to a genre that I was focusing on. Still door to door.
Still door to door.
Still door to door.
That's canvassing.
It's canvassing.
But
I never considered it, because I always felt like I had an open invitation to come in because it was part of the industry.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always kind of felt it was just me stopping by to say hi,
Well, that's how I would treat it when I was doing like the remodeling. I was doing door to door for like Renewal by Anderson and doing sales for them. And I would just come by and just have a simple conversation with people. Nobody wants to talk about their windows all the time, nor do they want to buy $100,000 windows tomorrow. You know
what they do now, because I get them at least once a month. They have the Anderson lead behind it. It looks like they hand wrote something, and it's not. And it's like, it's for $10,000, 15 windows, and this and that. And you're just like, Does that shit really work?
Yeah, one of those a month.
It's like, does it really work?
But I got creative with the way I would do things, and I started getting a lot of sales. I was going to like I wasn't just knocking any doors, and I wasn't going to these.
You were strategic.
I was strategic about it. I was going to the new homeowners and people I could tell you know, the families out in the front, they just bought the house, and it's like, hey, like, you know, you get those windows done. Let's take a look at it. Oh, let's just bring a salesman in that way we can see what we could do for you, you know. And I mean, from canvassing, I've seen people go in there and close these huge $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on windows. People are spending that, you know, $400,000 on windows. But you know, it's just from going door to door. But they also have their digital marketing side as well. But they will not let go of that street team, you know. So they obviously see the value in both.
I never will either, because canvassing to me is being at Home Depot and seeing a contractor and say, hey, you ever used pods before? No, that's you're canvassing. I'm doing it inside someone else's house.
Yeah. I see a lot of dudes that you know, in my industry, they sit right at Home Depot in the front with their business cards and ask people coming in and out. They're like, hey, if you need a guy.
I've done that here on Long Island with pods.
Yeah.
I've literally sat in the parking lot and stack of cards, looking for the nice shiny van.
See what sticks, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Something's gonna stick. You never know.
Plus, it breaks up the monotony of doing the same thing every day.
Every day.
This gives you a little, you know, a little juice.
10.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go do this today, and it's gonna, you know, give some different energy.
So the flip side is the digital marketing. So what's your experience with digital marketing?
Digital marketing is great. I mean, you get you know, there's a lot of places where you can get direct leads and stuff from, but that stuff costs. You know, I thought that the thing about canvassing and doing those organic sales is, you know, what does it cost you? Your gas to where you're going and different things. But if you know, time. But these digital marketing sites and apps and different things that can, you know, generate you business very fast. It comes with a price, you know, and you have to be very strategic about it. You can't sleep on it. You can't let leads just go because you didn't answer that lead doesn't mean they're not going to charge you for it, you know. So it's you have to vet out these different lead sources too, because there's a lot of all good. They're not all good.
How do you digital market?
So we just revamped the first thing that we did was we revamped our website. Just last year, after just doing it about 4 or 5 years before that. So we redid it again. And we hired somebody who did some digital marketing through Facebook and Instagram. I think we paid him to do 36 posts in 3 months.
Good.
I don't know. I can't tell you how well or unsuccessful it's been at this point. You don't always know right off the bat.
No.
Right. So that campaign, I think, is ending this month. So we just contracted to do, we're going to do some paid Facebook and Instagram advertising.
Mm-hmm. It's
I'm interested to see how this goes. My wife, who's my partner, you know, she's a little bit less, maybe I'm skeptical, maybe I'm not, but because it's, to your point, you know, as a small business, the dollars do mean something. Yeah. I don't have an unlimited budget for stuff like that. But in this day and age, you know, it's like, okay, we need to.
So I'm gonna jump because I have to. When I found my publisher for the book, they offered me a second program after the publishing part was done for Mark. And I was so leery. It was like, it was my money. You know, they built me a beautiful landing page. They built me an email address tied to the book. They tied it to a link. I've never seen it anywhere. So if I have social media, why wouldn't they post it on my social media? Right. Why wouldn't they connect me? And I literally had this conversation with my guy the other day. I'm like, dude, why isn't it on my feed? Yeah. My Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my TikTok. Why aren't I seeing your advertising? It looks like you did a beautiful job, bang up job. But I haven't seen it anywhere. And I feel like I threw away $3,000.
Yeah.
I feel completely.
Well, I saw ours. I actually think the guy did a good job with it. Like I said, I'm not sure how much traction it got, but I was happy. And we did get actually a lot of compliments from people in the industry, which means something, even though our competitors 100%. Are saying, wow, those, you know, who's this guy you're using or woman? It didn't generate much online traction, like back and forth with anybody per se that I can think of off the top of my head. But
these are things we have to do.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. People are buying. I don't even use it as TikTok. People buy things.
I do.
Straight from TikTok
I do.
now.
Bought something yesterday.
And when I tell you, there's been it's had to been over 20 times in the past 90 days of me saying, "Hey, where'd you get that?" Or TikTok.
It's become more legit.
And I'm just like, they're not telling me a store name. They're not telling me. They're just like TikTok. TikTok showed me it, so I clicked buy. We need to figure out how to
be careful.
Get some stuff onto TikTok.
Correct.
I don't know how to use it. I don't even use TikTok. I don't know how to. I don't know how to use it.
I'll teach you.
Yeah, that's the one. I know how to use
I
other
bought
things.
something from Facebook a year and a half ago for 2 years for my wife's. I think it was for Christmas, and guess what?
It never came.
It never came.
Yeah, that's happening.
And so I'm a little wary of actually
Yeah.
buying
So
something.
Maria,
that way.
you know my
Of
wife.
course, yeah.
After a couple of those burns, she's like, "Why don't you go online and look up the company first? See if they're legit,
Right.
and then use PayPal. Because PayPal is a secure site and your
Right.
money's locked in. So since I've started doing that, everything I've bought has arrived at my front door.
Yeah. Also,
Good tip.
Good tip.
Yeah. Well, also
Very
when
good
you
tip.
click on these advertisements on like Facebook and wherever, they'll be selling something, right? Let's say they're selling a Vespa or something, right? And you'll click it, but the website will be called. You have to look at the domain,
Right.
That is from. It's not Vespa.com.
No.
It's
Joe
Uncle
Blow.
John and his Sammy.com. And that's when you know. All right, this isn't Vespa. This
Dead
is
giveaway.
Yeah, but I used to click things like just I want to buy that. Yeah, it never comes, and it's like if you look at the domain, it's like it doesn't even have anything to do with them.
Well, this is to old and new.
Old and new.
Old times, new times.
Great having you with us.
Awesome.
Great having you here
Thanks
today.
for having me.
I'm gonna let you start it off.
So
Big
like I
dog.
said, I've had the pleasure of buying, I think I have 4 shirts, a pair of pants, and a jacket from you. I have some credit with you for a gift card that my wife bought me for Christmas. So every Father's Day now I get a shirt. Every Christmas I get something. It's really, and I've shared with him it's expensive, but there's a point in your life where you become worth it. And you're willing to save for it, and you're willing to say, okay, I want to step up my game. I'm not lying when I say I was in Florida last week with 150 men in a room, and I was one of the top 3 dressers there of that many men. They were just average, where I had my beautiful jacket on, my custom shirt, my pants, and I took notice of it because I know everybody else did. Like, oh, he's wearing a jacket.
Well, like you said earlier, that's like your suit of armor for you. That makes you
Fucking
feel
superhero.
Yeah, so that you can't put a price on
Can't
that.
put a price on it.
Yeah.
If it, and that's all. And when you really think about it, that's all we're trying to do is help you to grow your business.
Yeah.
And if that clothing can do that, then more power to you.
So I tell this story, and Chris can tell me if I see it wrong or not. But I see the story my way. So we have a guy in our group, Ron, who's been one of Chris's biggest clients for years. Ron's in our networking group, and I think Ron was pretty much one of 2 in the group who was using you. And when I finally saved up enough money to buy that jacket, I started to promote Chris, talk Chris up, tell the other guys they needed to step up their game. I think 6 guys have jackets in the group now, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know what the number is, but there's probably even more than that.
Let me tell you what. There's a lot. I don't know about the groups or whatever, but I remember being at a trade show and seeing maybe 8 or 9 guys
That's right.
come into a circle and flip their wrists, and it was all you. So that speaks volumes. That speaks a lot.
So tell us your first clothier job where you really felt that you had a draw and this is where you want to go.
I mean, how I got into the business, or
That first job that made you want to stay in the business.
oh, well, I don't remember the first job that I did, but I do remember one particular job that was it stood out in my first month because it was probably the largest sale that I got. It was a 4-suit, 8-shirt sale. I don't remember how much it was. This is almost 30 years ago. Probably, I don't know, $6-8 grand.
It's a lot of money.
It was a lot of money at that time, and that was powerful, because and again, there were smaller transactions, a suit and a shirt here, 6 shirts here, 2 suits and 3 shirts there, but that one, and the ease at which the guy bought those 4 suits and those 6 shirts or 8 shirts. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then, gave me his credit card to pay for the half down was enlightening.
Money.
And I mean, I was hooked before that, but that was that the possibilities start to go off in your head.
Wow. It's funny. I've told this story on a previous episode, but you'll probably appreciate it more. I was 15 and I worked at Burlington Coat Factory back when they used to have a suit salesman. And they used to make me measure everybody, come in, everyone that was looking for a suit and try to upsell them on a more expensive suit. Right. So I did that for about 2 years, and I used to make commission too at like 15, and that was a pretty fun job. That's a good job. It taught me a lot. I was dealing with men, and as a young kid, dealing with men like that just made me start being a little more mature, and made me carry I felt important. I wasn't just a cashier. I'm not a kid anymore.
It's funny. A couple of nights that when we first started networking, we basically walked out of the house, each other's house. Nice slacks, nice overcoat, nice shirt. We're kind of like Bobsy twins, if you want to say. But we had the same mentality that we wanted to wear a jacket, wear a shirt, nice pair of slacks, good shoes, and a good overcoat. Right. Overcoat doesn't get its play.
You'd be surprised about how many people don't have an overcoat.
Correct.
It's pretty amazing, actually. And the line is, I just go from my car to my office, and I do understand that. I mean, that is true. I can't argue with that. But to your point, everybody should have an overcoat. I mean,
we both have.
It's just part of whatever kind of coat. It's just protecting. It's just protecting. The rest of your clothing. Yeah. And that's what it's meant for. So,
it's nice and warm, man.
Get yourself an overcoat.
So,
let me lay out the groundwork for you.
Yeah, because I think go ahead.
Your first really involved job in the industry was in the city. Was that correct?
Yeah. No, actually it was in Westchester.
Oh,
really?
Tell us about that.
Well, that's where I started. The company that I was working for, I worked out of a sales office up in Elmsford, which is right outside of White Plains. It was 4 or 5 of us. And the funny thing was I was living in the city at the time. I was single and doing the reverse commute. So that was kind of interesting. So I was actually in that area and building a customer base for about a year and a half. And then I moved into the city. And
I had the city on my brain with him. I did.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of 1996. And my manager, who became a very good friend, actually let me work out of my apartment at first, as opposed to doing the reverse commute, because basically I basically started over at that point, because it would be very difficult for me to service those Westchester people while I was really trying to build a city base. Yeah. So I kind of gave him those customers, and they let me kind of start over, work from my apartment, which I loved at first. And then I actually got kind of lonely.
Gotta get out, man.
Yeah, so I only did it for about 2 months. Okay. And then I just started going back in mid to late afternoon. We had phone time. I had to go back for phone time. And then I would catch a ride with another guy back into the city at the end of the day.
Wow. When did Teresa become your partner?
So, you mean my life partner?
Yeah. You missed that one.
I can't read it.
Well, so she's my wife, obviously.
Yeah.
We married in 1999. She was also in the business at the time when we met each other. Okay. She was a salesperson. I was a salesperson. We worked out at different offices. But when we had kids, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mother.
Yeah.
Which was fine. So fast forward 4 or 5 years, when I started Christopher Allen, she was pretty much still a stay-at-home mom, and that was a bridge we had to make sure that she was comfortable with me leaving the alleged security of a large company and stock and good health care and all that benefits and all that kind of stuff. And I had to make sure that she was comfortable with the decision, because we had 2 small kids, a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old at the time. I wanted to make sure she was on board, because I don't know if I would call myself a risk taker, but she's less of a risk taker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, so when I did start the business, she was my partner in the sense that she was doing some behind the scenes stuff. I'd say fast forward 7 or 8 years after that, that's when she became an official partner, in the sense of she started building her own base of customers within our company. So
Yeah.
we went from one salesperson to 2 salespeople.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know your wife. I know you pretty well. You know me. You know my wife, and I know, the behind the scenes of Eddie Pods is my wife. I always give her full credit behind the scenes of this book. She's my editor. Like my wife is always there, lockstep. How's that dynamic work at home?
Listen, like anything, it has its, when you work with somebody, it's challenging. And when you're married to them, it's challenging. It has its ups and downs. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
She's a great partner. We work well together. That doesn't mean that we don't have disagreements about how maybe we should spend our money, or maybe shouldn't spend our money, or how do we want to grow this? How do we want to do things? I think ultimately, I typically get I get maybe one more vote than she does. She might not agree with that, but it's challenging. But I wouldn't change it.
It's funny.
We make it work.
You mentioned before the risk takers. My wife is not the risk taker, and she leaves that to me.
You are.
I'm the risk taker. She is the voice of sanity, though.
That's good.
She is the voice of sanity.
It's balance.
I run everything by her in the sense, what do you think of this? I'm not asking for her permission, and she's not talking to me like she's giving me permission. She's giving me her unobstructed view of what I'm telling her, and she'll not afraid to say, dumb idea, or give it a shot. What do you have to lose?
Right.
This whole book was, what do you have to lose? $500 for a publishing deal?
Right.
Like, yeah, that's all I have to lose, and it's not even coming out of the family budget. So she makes that sense.
Good.
Give a shout out to your best customer. Your favorite customer.
Ron Ingber.
Ron Ingber.
Really?
Yeah. I knew he was going to go there.
Ron.
Big Ron. No doubt about it. He'd kill me if I said otherwise.
So I know the answer to this question, but tell us about the Christopher Allen Custom Clothing Experience. Why do I want... Tell the audience why I want that experience.
It's almost like you have a lawyer in your speed dial, you have an accountant, you have a financial planner, you have this, you have that, this, that, whatever. It's no different.
Yeah.
Okay? I am for the guy who wants his guy, my suit guy. It's personal, it's individual, and it's tailored to you. It's not mass produced. It's not like walking into a store and somebody has created something and says this is what you should buy in accordance with that store and what the media tells you. This is about what you might want.
Yeah.
I just had a guy who bought pleated pants with cuffs.
Okay.
You can't get pleated pants with cuffs in a store.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what I do, because he doesn't fit into those kind of pants. He's got these gigantic thighs. They don't fit him. They're tight. He's uncomfortable. So we can do something like that. So I think it's very personal. It's unique. We make it simple, easy, and it's fun. It's clothing. We're not curing cancer here. We're just trying to make your life a little bit easier, because everybody's life, no matter what you do, you have so many things to do, that if this is one little thing we can make a little bit easier for you, that's what we're trying to do.
For me, and this is the God's honest truth, between my shoulders, my long legs, my long arms, buying off rack just sucked. It just sucked. I never fit right in a suit. The pants didn't fit good here. My ass was flat there. The shoulders were poofy here, whatever. When I started to actually take notice and care about it and started, to see you for my clothing, like, why would I want to feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate, because you're not for everyone Priceline-wise. Not everyone fits the budget to be able to afford your clothing. I admire that you have such a high standard. I admire that your brand is worth more than the off-the-rack at Joseph A. Bank or whoever else, Baracos, that you're not in competition with, but you know what I'm saying, that I don't have to shop there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I don't.
Every body is unique. Sometimes you need me to tell you that. Some guys already know. But everybody is unique. And for me, it's like if I walked into a store and I put on what I think is my right size, it just doesn't feel right. Even though it might fit me and it might look good, it doesn't feel right, because now I've known what something that's actually made for my body feels like.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't think that I've had a full tailored supersize, maybe like my mom's wedding or something, like a tux or something. But I have a couple weddings I've went to, but all of my suits and stuff, I kind of get lucky. I'm slim. I can go get a nice Ralph Lauren slim fit jacket and it fits, but until I haven't had that full custom fit yet.
You're
to
next.
be like, yeah, I know I am. I was just gonna say
when
that.
you
I'm
start
next.
getting the old man pounds, your arms get thicker, your neck gets thicker. You can't get.
Well, I
them
don't think it's in my
six
genes,
anymore.
man. Even my dad's the exact same size as me. I don't think that's it.
lucky.
But
My goal is to get you a jacket from him. You know that.
no, yeah, I'm gonna be a customer of Chris. I can't wait. That's why I said I have never had a full tailored suit since my grandmother used to do it when I was a kid. But
One of the underrated benefits to us is that, again, and I'm not here to say anything bad about stores or whatever.
Yeah.
They serve a purpose. They've been around forever, and I'm sure they'll still be around forever. Is that you're just when you walk into, it doesn't matter what store. It could be Bloomingdale's. It could be this one, that one. You're limited in the selection, even if you're a standard size. Now, if you're a 42, you're a step ahead of everybody else because that's where they're going to carry and they go to the deepest. But you're limited by what exactly they have on that day when you walk in the store. We're not limited by that. We're dealing in fabrics only. Nothing is inventoried. Everything gets made. And we have thousands, and I mean thousands
He comes
of
with books,
fabrics.
man. He comes with books.
Right. So you just have, there's so many, it's almost too many, but there's so many choices for, colors, patterns, weights, texture, this, that, you really, that's, I
And it's
believe
in your home or in your office. That's the part I love.
I just want that nice slim fit suit, skinny tie.
You want me to get up and show you how slim fit my suit is? And I'm
Yeah,
58 years old?
Yeah. Give us a little.
Give us the slim fit.
Got slim fit.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I can't pull that off. My calves are too big.
See, that's what I need, man.
My shoulders are too big.
Right, and that's
right.
a great point that
Right.
Eddie's bringing up. Is that slim fit is not for
Everybody.
everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's
No,
not.
no.
But you can still, with enough questions asked and really dialing in onto how somebody wants something to fit, you can make their version of a slimmer fit per se.
Course.
To Eddie's point, I've got giant calves. Yeah, that's a factor, and you have to unless you don't mind walking around, because you see it like with a lot of the athletes, you see them with these very, very snug fitting garments, and the pants are short and
because it's
everything,
hugging the calf.
right? Which is the look they're going for. And it might be comfortable, it might not be, but for Ed, it's not. So
Yeah. My problem is I'm a slim fit guy, but my limbs and everything are super long. My legs are
Long
super
and tall
long.
guy. Long and tall guy.
But I can fit into a medium t-shirt.
right.
I'm not supposed to. A large is where my length is, but I can fit into a medium and it looks nice.
I'm just like you.
You know?
I have the legs of someone who's actually 6 feet tall at 5'8". I do.
My legs
I have
are
very
like
long.
6'3".
I have very long legs for my height.
Yeah.
And a short torso.
Yeah.
So
your hips are like all the way up here.
They are.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yes, they are.
What piece of clothing is your actual favorite make? Like what is your favorite to make?
You gotta have one.
Well, I mean, suits pay the bills.
We're not talking bills. What do you really enjoy when you're
Like,
I like
you're
making.
passionate to make- yeah.
I make like really fun sport jackets. Like
Sport
one of the
jackets,
things that's
good photos.
happened over the last, I'd say, 5 years is guys have really opened up to being creative because people aren't wearing suits as frequently as they did.
Right.
So they are wearing jackets, and jackets can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You can, and you're seeing colors that the average guy would not wear years ago. And I'm talking, reds, greens,
Purples.
burgundies, purples.
Burgundy suede.
Yeah, just
with
all,
yeah.
that I just know from doing this a long time that, 20 years ago, that guy would have never purchased that from me. But now maybe his son's telling him, Dad, you should
Sharpen
get that.
up.
You look, and it also makes, kind of makes you look current and hip and younger, which as you
Get
age, we'll do
older.
anything we can to help us, look a little bit younger. So a really cool sport coat would be the one thing that I enjoy by the most.
In Florida last week, a lot of men that I've known for years, first time meeting them, they made comments to me. You're looking sharp, Eddie. Typical sales guy, making really good comments. Look at this. And they open it up and it says Eddie Pods. And they're like, no fucking way. Really? They're like,
He sells
but
you
it
everywhere we
fits.
go.
But it fits. And they say that. You could pull it off. No, I don't know how many other guys could pull that off, but you pull it off. And this is
I love the fact that he loves this kind of stuff.
I do. Senior
I'm
VP.
the number
it,
one
you know,
witness. He
he-
sells you everywhere. I spend a lot of time with him. Anywhere we go, where we have to put anything on, he's letting everybody know.
Thank you. I appreciate
Everyone's
it.
like,
I know
"Oh,
you
that's a
do.
nice jacket." He's selling you serious about it. Does that with everybody that he's close to, you know, and that's what's great about him.
So
He's always thinking about other people. And
Yeah.
I
that's
do
what helps
appreciate
me
for that.
sell, thinking
that's-
about other people. So we're going to take a minute to think about it's Tuesday. We had our Tuesday morning group. How proud are you to be part of that Tuesday morning group?
I love the group. I mean,
What's it called?
NFC, Networking for Charity.
There you go.
I've known a number of those guys in that group for a long time. You were actually in the group
When
a
I
long
was with
time
the
ago.
Islanders.
Here's
Eddie
another
Islanders.
name. Eddie Islanders.
Yep.
That's what you were when I met you,
Yep.
and then you became Eddie Pretzel.
And then Eddie
You
Pods.
you're right.
So you knew him at Eddie Pretzels too.
Yeah.
I think he transitioned from
Transitioned.
Islanders to Pretzels while
Yeah.
he was there. I remember him bringing in your daughter. So I've known a lot of those guys for a long time. They're my friends. But yeah, listen, when you're getting up at 7 a.m. every Tuesday, you got to like the people. And for someone like me, small company, just me and my wife, I do it as much for the social aspect as for the business aspect. I enjoy, and I've been in networking groups where I didn't necessarily like or didn't really,
Get engaged.
really get engaged or really make any kind of, meaningful relationship. So I think I know a good one when I see one, and I do a tremendous amount of networking. So I love the group.
Well, I'll tell you about you guys' networking group. I've been down to a few, and anytime I've left that 7:00 morning breakfast, I've killed it that day.
There was a lot of juice in the room today.
I'm telling you, I've killed it. Anytime
Lot of
I've went to
juice.
that
I've
breakfast,
said many times, I'm not really a morning person. It's a struggle for me to get there.
yeah, me too.
But, and I credit Eddie for this because he's prepared, and I always leave. I'm so glad I came today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got me
Fired up.
excited, fired up, ready to go. And you do a good job. And I've said that
I
many,
do
many,
appreciate that. I
many
do.
times.
Eddie's
to
got a
people.
motor like no one
He
I've
does,
ever seen in my
and
life.
it's a thankless job.
We
It
know.
really
It
is, and someone has to do it, and he steps up and does it.
I will say, the best part about it is something like what happened today. So we made a decision. We're a charity. All our dues goes to charity. We vote on things as a team. We have people vetting things. So Ron, his best customer, we donated $2,000 to a gentleman who's sick and needs help. So we took a table at his function, $2,000 donation. We do this to help other people. I get a phone call 2 weeks ago from Glenn. And Glenn calls me and goes, here's my situation. And I heard him on the phone. You heard him today.
Yeah.
He was broken up. His
Yeah.
brother's got stage 4 lung cancer. He goes, I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for the opportunity to speak for this event that we're having. I'm like, Glenn, you're family,
Of
man.
course.
You live around the corner from me. You're family. Of course. He goes, I don't want to do it this week with you away. I want to make sure you're there. So he got up and spoke today. I think we raised off the cuff $500 in
Yeah.
donations just from the room. And as a team, we're going to donate, I think, $1,500 to his brother's fundraiser to help raise money. Because,
And he'll probably get more individual.
yeah, 100%. Well, I told him to put the Venmo in
He did.
our group chat so I can send, because I don't carry cash. My cash source is dried up.
The side hustle.
My side hustle has been a little weaker. All right. This is you.
What are your future marketing plans?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the networking trade shows I think it will always be a part of the plan. As I mentioned, we're going to be entering into this paid Facebook advertising and Instagram campaign. So that's coming. I believe that's beginning in April. So I'm very interested to see how
Can I ask,
that goes.
have they mentioned TikTok to you?
No, not that to be honest with you, Teresa talks to them a little bit more than I do. We were on a joint call the other day. I just talk about the money. I don't think they have. I don't think they have.
Here's what I'm going to tell you from an old guy. We're the same age. Old guy experience. I got turned on to TikTok from my kid about 4 months ago. It hones in on what I'm interested in. The videos that I see, the reels that I see, the information that I bring in is things that I'm interested in. It's a lot of home improvements, self-help people, sales leaders, book publishers, a lot of stuff that I'm interested in learning. If I'm you, because once we start releasing this podcast, I'm going to be an avid force. I'm going to be on Facebook. I'm going to be on LinkedIn. I'm going to be on Instagram. And I'm going to be on TikTok. And I'm going to post 3 times a week, 30 straight days on all 4 of these verticals. If I have to do it myself, whether one way or another, that's what I'm doing. But the TikTok family is grown to amazing heights.
It's crazy.
Don't leave it out.
Yeah.
Let it be part of your plan. You'll get more from that than you will LinkedIn. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
So if you were thinking, oh, LinkedIn.
More from anything, because for some reason, I think China controls TikTok, right?
They do.
They
Yes.
have this algorithm that literally is, if the second it gains any traction, it's in everyone's house tomorrow.
Right.
Everybody. More than Instagram, more than Facebook, more than YouTube. It's, I don't know, it's just like that weird algorithm they have that but the funny thing about it, I'm not going to get into this stuff. In China, their kids are banned from using
Correct.
the same
And they're trying to ban it
TikTok
now,
that
14
we
and
watch.
under.
Down in
Can't-
Florida.
Florida.
So
14 and under.
Yep.
Yeah. They're banning it in Florida.
Yeah, because there's sick stuff on there. But
100%.
that's the next thing. Go ahead.
I'm going to wipe that. I've known you I've known you a long time, but I've only known your business about 3.5, 4 years. What product or products now are you selling that you never did in the past that are really starting to make an impact on your
I got
business?
3 of them right here. You want to see them?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Good
wow,
segue.
look at that lead
Good
in.
segue.
Look at that lead in. Let's see what he's got.
All right, so the first one is like you called it a pea coat.
Yes. But I see
This
it
is,
more.
this is more of a.
I am seeing a way different than my Pico.
This is
that.
a updated. It's a pretty lightweight.
Can a slim guy like him get in this right now?
Oh, man,
A fat guy like me ain't getting in it.
No, Ty and I are pretty close in size.
Yes.
Probably fit him.
Yeah, I'm about 175, 180 pounds.
I'm getting there.
I'm getting there. I love it.
All in one spot, though.
It's good, man. It's good, man.
Let's see. Is this the sleeve? There we go. Oh.
So we create the style, we create the length. You have some
Yeah.
details to choose from.
The first thing that jumps out at me is the typical your pattern.
Yeah, different.
Our pea coat, the one that we have, there's no pattern. It's
Right.
just your plain
Solid.
deep blue. Nothing about
That's
it
black.
stands out. I see blue in here.
It's blue and black. Right?
Blue and black.
Tight it is.
Yeah.
Right here.
You like it or you don't?
No, I like. No, I like.
You don't
how
like the
tight it is.
droopy stuff.
You know I can't wear a
No,
solid coat. I mean,
because-
I gotta wear
Hell
something,
no.
you know?
Hell no.
Because I'm slim in here,
Yeah.
so it's hard to find stuff that.
I like that.
And by the way we can make it is you can make it so you can wear it the way he's wearing it, or you can make it where you can wear it over.
A little
Suit
bit
coat,
bigger so
sport
it fits
coat.
over a coat.
Right. All that goes into the customization.
Tell you what,
the measurements.
this is incredibly comfortable.
I like that.
This
I
is
like
so
that. Again,
comfortable.
it's about the
You
patterns.
could wear this.
It actually fits me perfect. It fits me perfectly.
All right, how much? How much for this coat? What's it going to cost us right now?
It fits me perfectly.
What else did
Free
you bring?
advertising.
What else did you bring?
So, with COVID and the shutdown and people, working from home, I want to say, our business is an old school business, right? And it's rooted in traditional men's clothing, which, are suits, shirts, sport
Talk into the
coats.
mic a little bit.
Sorry, classic pants, things like that, tuxedos. What we have done over the last few years is enter actually completely new products that we never carried before.
Answering
okay?
my question. What do you
Right.
got?
So this is an outerwear vest.
Oh wow! I didn't even realize that was.
Yeah, I kind of was watching that. I saw that. I was like, ooh, that's unique.
It's like it's a
Perfect question.
It's a riff on like a Peter Millar type of golf vest, but only with a wool material, so it's dressy. You're not going to wear this on the golf course, this particular one, although we make ones that you could.
Come into the camera.
And again,
Yep. There you
So you can wear this as it's a layering piece.
I
So
like
you can
that.
wear it.
It's a light because I don't always
it's
want a big
lightweight.
jacket.
Right.
You know, in the springtime, you don't always want a
so you
big
can wear it
jacket.
like this. You can
Oh, I love that.
snug.
Let the fat out.
You can wear it under a sport coat, which I've done both. So I've worn it on its own.
Yeah, and then
And
put
I've
it
worn
under
it on a sport coat. So this is
I
an
like
outerwear vest. Okay.
Wow.
And then bomber jacket.
So
Okay.
does that go over,
It
or
can.
does the vest go over that?
No, you could do it either way.
Because I looked at it and I thought it was the vest over that.
Bomber jackets are, everywhere. Patrick O'Holmes.
So that's what you're calling a book. So you've
This is
mentioned
our
it's a
version
bomber.
of
It's
a
a
bomber
bomber,
jacket.
Oh, wow.
The rib.
Yeah, that's what makes it a
Love that.
bomber right
The
here.
ribbed-
Rib, yeah.
No,
And again,
no
and this-
initials?
and this,
or do
uh,
you
Not on
do
the
collar?
outside. No.
No, you don't do that?
No, we
That's
don't
not,
do it.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking.
Cart bomber. So these are some new products that we entered in the last couple of years. I every time I wear this, I get a compliment. I don't wear it that frequently,
Yeah,
but every time I
they
wear it, I
don't-
get a compliment.
They don't make a lot of bombers that go with dress clothes.
No.
They're usually a streetwear
That's right. And you
type of
could,
thing.
right. It's right. This
So-
is a little bit of a dressier version.
Dressier version.
Chris?
And I have
Exactly.
these.
You need, when you're presenting, to do a better job explaining what a bomber jacket was, because I was thinking,
Everybody knows what a bomber jacket
I'm thinking about the 80s bomber jacket.
The leather.
The leather.
Right.
So when you talk
You
about
you sure I didn't, and maybe you just missed it?
No, well, no, you just talk about a bomber jacket, but you never
See, I actually
explained that it
never
was.
see that with the sport.
That's a spring coat. To me, a bomber jacket is late fall, winter coat.
So we can make it out of any material, Eddie. You could do it out of like a stretchy material. You can do it out of a nice wool. You have very many. Your limit.
Limitless.
There are no limits.
Right,
to
limitless.
what we can make it out of. So
Back into the mic.
I like that.
you can wear this under here as a layering piece.
That's awesome. And again, so I'm a guy who's interested in your stuff. You know, I speak of you. You need to demo this at the breakfast meeting. You do. You need to let. I feel like I know fashion. I have 4 daughters. We're talking fashion all the time. I know what's going on. But you say bomber jacket, that is not what I'm thinking when I'm thinking bomber jacket. I'm thinking winter, not spring.
Gotcha.
That's a spring coat.
Okay.
You wear that on the golf course.
This one's a little. I mean, you could. It's a little dressy for the golf course.
It's a
But I
little dressy.
like the dressy.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I'm
you
looking
could,
for.
But we also have a version of it that's meant to be more, golf with that kind of stretch material.
But
that's
you could also go super business casual with that bomber.
I
if
think
you
it's
wanted
perfect
to. You don't have
for-
to go dressy.
it's meant to bridge the gap.
I love it.
Where you're not getting dressed up the way you did, but you're still presentable. You're
yourself.
giving it some thought
Right.
before just going into the office in your,
Yeah.
your khakis and your button down and your golf shirt or a t-shirt or you could wear it on a Zoom call. Zoom calls are still huge. Perfect for a Zoom call.
Just-
My son wears it on a lot of his Zoom
Yeah.
calls.
Just so I have an idea, because I know, is it higher or lower than the sport coat?
The bomber's around the same price. It's the same amount of material, give or take. So we've kind of priced it very
Okay.
similarly.
That's
But since you know a guy, you never know.
yeah, you never know.
One thing, as I start to get a little older, and I have a 6-year-old now, I'm either in really nice clothes or I'm in a full dad sweatsuit. Like that's just, it's
So
either
my dad's sweatsuit I wore yesterday. It's University of South Carolina pleated sweatpants with a University of South Carolina fleece.
yeah.
That's my version.
So I have this.
we all
Old
have
and
that.
new, man. Old and new. Here it is again.
I have this exact sweatsuit in every color, but it has a nice fit to it. It's,
You like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna be honest. When Ty texted me, I'm dressing down today. I was like, oh, how bad are we going? But he showed up with the.
it's a fitted
You
sweatsuit.
came out with the fitted look.
It's
It
still
looks
tapered.
good.
It's still
You look fine. I have no problem.
I texted
Eddie,
him.
this is what we're dealing with today. This is what
I
I'm fighting
texted him
against.
because I didn't have time to do laundry. I was like, I'm dressing a little down today. I usually
wanna
come in a
say
button
it.
up. I
I
usually come in a
wasn't
crew
gonna
neck
say
or
it.
something.
He
I was
looks
like,
better than you and I would look in that. I'll give you
Yes,
that.
no doubt. I can't pull that off.
No, I don't think I
look
could
like
either.
a dad.
I look like I'm trying too hard.
Well, to be honest with you, I'll wear like these. I'll wear a black one to work. When I'm in the truck or I'm doing something because it just fits nice. It's tight. You can work in it. I can move. So
Someone like you, the time to get dressed up is when you're networking.
That's
You're at
it.
an industry conference. Your day-to-day job, you're not getting dressed up, of course.
No.
But there are opportunities, like Eddie realized, where you need a good sport coat. I need one good suit. I need a couple of shirts. I need a nice pair of dress pants so that when I want to be taken a little bit more seriously, I can. That's all.
yeah,
That's all-
when he's
that's all it
taking
is.
me all over to these big shot events and stuff, I gotta
gotta dress
I
the
gotta
part.
do what I
Dress
gotta
the
do. So where's your business heading, Chris?
Online, still in person.
No,
You'll never do online.
I don't think so. That's a totally different business. That's something you'd have to build out.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like cookie cutter though.
Yeah, I don't. That becomes about price and marketing and having money behind you to set all that up. I don't listen. We've had so many changes to this business. 30 years. I don't think while we are adapting to times. I don't think the touchy-feely part of the business will ever go away.
Mhm.
However, once I have somebody's measurements, and we get plenty of these where a guy just calls you up and says, "Hey, I need
Send me a shirt."
Yes, I need 6 new white shirts. I need 3 new pair of pants. I need a new blue blazer. You have my measurements. I'm good with the last measurements you use. Just you pick it out. Ron Ingber does that all the time. As a matter, here's another shout out to Ron. He ordered 3 more sweaters today, custom made sweaters that I've made for him
Is that
today.
for that jacket?
So I think the in-person part, which I think is our unique selling proposition, our USP, I think will always be. I don't at the moment I don't see that changing.
So my last question, and Chris knows I've been hounding him and pushing him and prodding him. Any dream fashion show that you'd like to host or be part of that you haven't been part of? Or would you like to create one with the help of Eddie Pods and get a real fashion show?
So you want me to do a fashion show?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. That's my honest answer.
No,
you put me on the spot. That's my honest
I know.
answer.
I'm
not
only,
sure.
That's the only on the spot question I had. But I have offered to help.
I need more guys that look like Ty to be in that fashion show.
100%.
So my father is a designer.
Is that right?
Yeah, he does New York Fashion Week every year, a couple times a year. He makes. We'll talk offline. I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah.
But he makes he uses repurposes fabric and turns it into art pieces.
Oh wow!
So he's opening a gallery in Boston. Every one of it's a piece. It's not something you everyday wear type of thing. He makes pieces. So but I also wanted to. I saw a post by Steve Harvey the other day, and he said that every man needs 3 suits: a black suit, a navy blue suit, and a gray suit.
Yep.
In which each one of those suits, you should have 3 shirts: a black shirt, a blue shirt. And then he said with those 3 suits, you can make up to 15 suits.
Well, once you add in the shirts, combinations.
Just switching it out by switching your blue shoes with your brown shoes and your black shoes.
Right.
And you can literally make up to almost 20 suits.
Right.
But
1 jacket, 2 pants, 3 shirts gives you 6 different combinations.
Yeah.
You can multiply that out.
I want to comment on that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I've been to some galas. I have been to some weddings. And the last 2 years of it, I didn't use a suit. I used you. I didn't have a suit. I had my custom pants. I had my custom shirt. I had my jacket. I didn't even wear a freaking tie. And I looked good.
Yeah.
Do you think, and again, not trying to hurt your business, but are we going away from suits where the dresser casual?
Do you mean like tuxes or like?
No. I'm a guest at a wedding. Most people go, put on your best suit. I put on my best pants, my best jacket, my best shirt. It's not a suit, but it's Chris's stuff.
Yeah.
Is that becoming more trendy?
I think to be honest with you, I think that just depends on the person.
Because not everyone can pull it off.
Yeah, well, and also it might depend on what your best items in your wardrobe are. You feel like those are your best items; they fit you the best. So why wouldn't you wear them? And
do I need a suit? That's what I'm saying.
Granted, probably 25 years ago, very rarely did people wear sport coats to weddings because it was just we were in a more formal time,
right? And
we just continue to get less and less and less formal. But I also think that you're seeing, because we're less formal, those are opportunities to actually get dressed up again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And you're seeing, we did a lot of weddings in the last 2 years. And whereas 5-6 years ago, every young guy was buying a blue suit or a light gray suit with all his mates, and that's what they were wearing. Now they went back to tuxedos the past 2 years. I did a tremendous amount of just classic black tuxedos.
So is that why I'm seeing those blue suits out now? Because they're like, well, I got this suit. I might as well just wear it. I'm seeing more and more young guys in the blue suit with the brown shoes. I'm like, it's time, because I know you have one. I know Chris Galuzzo has one. I'm like, maybe I need a blue.
10 years ago, when they created like the slim fit suit, which was pure genius marketing, and it created a whole new thing. It was perfect for the business.
And the skinny tie.
Right. And it basically, it caused young people to get into suits because they were coming out of not having to wear suits. Right. And it caused older gentlemen to consider something new and different as long as it fit them. And that blue, not navy, but that blue suit became the poster child.
And I still see
for that
it.
suit with the brown shoes, and people were wearing it for weddings, and and that's the beauty is you could wear it for your wedding because that became a thing, and you could also wear it for work.
And it's so weird because, again, I'm not a fashion icon by no means, but to see a guy with blue shoes and brown shoes, if you would have worn that in the 70s, it would have been laughed at. But now it goes together so nice.
Goes together.
It fits.
I went to a wedding recently. I did everything super slim on the bottom. I mean, the shirt to the point where it was the collars, it was slim black pants, gray and black dress shoes, suede gray Calvin Klein sport coat.
A lot of name dropping over here.
Yeah.
A lot of name dropping.
I just didn't hear yours.
Just because I know it, because certain things fit me well. Calvin Klein fits me well. It does. The slim fits, I have a certain body type. When you find the one thing, it just fits you. That's the one thing I don't have to go get adjusted or something because it fits.
Right.
I hope you keep it for the rest of your life.
But I'm sure when I do get that adjustment, I'm going to be like,
I got to go get Chris.
None of these suits have ever fit. None of my jackets have ever really fit.
You just treat yourself to something different,
And
a different experience. That's really what it is.
So, one of the guys I used to work with before my pack and load team, before you, remember what he bought? He bought a purple sports coat.
Mike Rosenberg,
He
yes.
bought it purple. He never wore it anywhere, but he bought it. He thought it was the coolest thing. And again, it looked beautiful. He just never wore it anywhere.
Yeah, it was more purple than yours was.
Oh, God, it was all
Well, his is barely
like
purple.
a
His
velvet
is
robe.
like a
Stark.
pinstripe
Stark.
purple. It's dark. Yeah, I like yours.
All right, Chris, we're going to include you in this week's
Big wins
or best new connection. So, Ty, you have a big win. I think you're going to be driving to Montana.
I got 2 big wins. I'm either going to drive to Montana soon, she's a 90-year-old woman. Her husband passed away, and she's just trying to get closer to her family, who's in Montana, her granddaughters, because she's just like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, and I don't want to go to our home because these people are going to treat me like crap. So
Where'd you get that lead?
she calls Eddie to get a pod to fill a pod to go to Montana.
Shameless plug.
To send a pod to Montana. I happened to be in his office at the time, and he's like, first of all, he doesn't even think about me. I'm in the background screaming. He goes, yeah, sorry, Pods doesn't service Montana. All right, I'll see you later. I'm like, wait, I'll bring her. Next thing you know, he gives me the number. I go upstairs. I'm on the phone with her for an hour. I'm going there tomorrow, do a walkthrough for her after I do
We do what's necessary for the business and what's
we
for
do
our
what's
customers.
necessary. And she told me, she said,
above
listen,
and beyond.
She said, Ty, I can't do anything. I'm 90 years old. I need this house cleaned. I need it painted, and I need all my stuff. She's like, I want to make some money when I sell it, so I need someone to come just make this all make sense for me.
So I just want to jump in there because this is how my business flows. I know a guy at the Calverton warehouse who's my pal. And when he sees older people coming to Pods, he sends them to me because he knows I'm going to take care of them like my mom and dad because they're both 90 years old. So I have a special interest in really helping. By the time our 45-minute conversation was over, she needed a pack and load, Ty. She needed a cleaning company, Ty. She needed an auto transit, Eddie. She needed someone to help her, Ty. She needed someone to be honest with her, Eddie. I can't help you. Let Ty help you.
Right.
We don't come within 300 miles of where you're going. It's a waste of money. This guy, he can set you up for a clean out, get rid of your junk, clean your house, load your stuff to a truck, and see you in Montana in 7 days or whatever the time frame be. And then she was like, what about my car? and it's funny because Ty got paid to move one of my clients by driving her car with her in it.
Oh, yeah, I had to take her.
With her in it.
I had to hire somebody.
We're not doing that again. So I introduced her to Ashton. So
Can you drive
shameless
me up
pub.
in my car?
Ashton is my transport guy. I'd never met him in person. We connected online. We've known each other 4 years. I have sent him 10 customers, and I know that because he sends me a check every time I send $100 check as a thank you. I don't do it for the thank you. It's a great courtesy,
Right.
but I love when his office gal, Patty, calls me, Eddie, you got another one. And I've never met this guy.
Right.
But we've talked and does a great job.
Yeah.
So auto, moving, it all connects together. So that was your what was your second big one?
Second big win was I did a job for Total Mortgage Arena and UBS Arena. I was transferring some material merchandise for them back and forth. They had a professional women's hockey game
Where'd
last
you get
night.
that lead?
Eddie Pods. Listen, let me tell you something. When this dude opens up his book to me and tells me that there's some stuff in there, I don't hesitate.
Jump.
I jump because I know it's valuable. So they ended up, I took some stuff from Connecticut, some merchandise to the UBS Arena. As I get to the UBS to drop it off, they're like, hey, if we don't sell everything, can you pick everything up later and bring it back if we need you to? I'm like, yeah, just let me know. I was like, but if I'm going to come, I'm going to give you tickets to the game. So
There you go.
Early.
You've learned. If you don't ask, you won't get.
That's right.
They were
Ask for it.
They were like, "Are you kidding me? Yeah, I will give you 10 tickets. However many you need. You want to bring somebody?" I'm like, "Yeah." So they gave me tickets to UBS. I show up there. They ended up not needing me at the end. They sold their stuff, but I ended up getting, went to a free game and just built great connections with that client. And then like now we're even closer. Right? I feel like family with them now. I sat and they
where it
brought me
should be.
down into like where the players were, and
It's nice.
like I literally escorted the professional players out of the arena yesterday. So that's a big win,
So-
when you get to have that type of connection with your clients.
Nice.
My big win is 2.5 months in the making. I'll give a shout out to Dave Fisher, who's no longer with Pods. Doing a lot of shout outs today. He found the lead in the system for a company that was based out of New York that was looking at pricing in Florida. He did his homework and realized this is in my territory. He sent it to me. Turns out they're a contractor for the United States government. The name of the company is called Diamond Defense Systems. And they were bidding on a project, initially had 30 locations of them having to bring technology. He wouldn't tell me which, it was top secret. But he was going to need a container at every location that they would be working. Each location was going to be at least 2 months. Different crews all over the country. And in my process of giving that great performance in winning their business, they asked for, if we do 30 containers, what kind of rate can you get me? What if we do 60 containers? What kind of rate can you get me? So I went to my team, I pulled back, I got them a great rate. Turns out they were proposing to the government. I was in their proposal. So all the things they interviewed me about, the service, how are we doing this, who's the contact person, they had that, they had me. So he went down to Clearwater, strangely, where my corporate offices is, and he did his presentation last week. Wednesday, I'm doing my follow-ups. I'm like, oh, let me shoot Troy an email. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Where are we at? We're in standby. That's holding pattern for go. But this project has just grown to twice the size they initially told us. So I'm looking at going from 60 containers to 120 containers.
Oh man!
And I'm I'm the go-to person. I'm the resource. I'm the guy who's gonna make it all happen. And I have a guy behind me. This will happen. My focus will be there. But these are the wins I celebrate. Now.
Yeah,
serious.
man. 120 containers.
120 containers. We celebrate. Your big win or best
Cheers.
new connection?
Let's see. Best new connection. You mentioned Libby earlier,
Yeah, sure.
Long Island Builders Institute. The CEO reached out to me. He actually lives in East Northport.
Sal?
No,
No?
not Sal.
Not Sal. Okay.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Mike, end of the year, he had saw me present at one of their meetings. Now, again, I'm the only person that does what I do.
Yeah,
I have
man, no doubt.
Captive audience. There's,
Yeah.
but he saw me present at one of their shows for associate members and thought of me and reached out to me. And he's like, I needed some new stuff. And he bought a suit and 3 shirts. But now he is implementing the outgoing president every year will now get a green jacket
From
From
like the
me.
Masters.
Oh.
right, with custom Libby lining on the
Beautiful.
inside. The year that they served, paid for by Libby.
Wow.
So I just measured up the first guy for this.
So you got a guarantee every year now.
I got a guarantee every
That's
year.
beautiful.
Custom
The only
jacket.
question is, am I going to make the date because it's a little short right now? But
You'll make. I know you'll
we're-
make it happen.
You know, it's coming up very fast.
Wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, that was a very nice thing. You know, great. I love the idea. We both had the same idea of as far as the color goes.
But you know, the Masters is coming
course,
in
course.
10 days. You
That's
know.
the Chris Cartezano Hall
right.
of Fame jacket right there.
Another good kind of a win or more of a full circle moment is I'm actually going to see one of my best friends I grew up with, his dad, and my friend's uncle on Thursday. Their grandson is getting married. He's 82. My friend Rob's uncle is probably 80. What's full circle about this is my friend's dad, when I first got into the business, he had a very good job. He was a CFO of a big oil company. He never bought anything from me, but he went into his Rolodex and gave me like 30 referrals. Just said, call all these people, tell them I'm your customer. And that was one of the things that got me off and running.
Wow.
You know, right from the get-go. I had all these people to call, say, hey, you know, Bob asked me to give you a call. And even though, you know, I was allowed to say that he was a customer, even though he wasn't. He was.
Listen, we're
And now I get to make it.
Keeping
Now
up
I get
with
to
the
make
Joneses.
now I get to make a suit for him for his
Are you gonna comp him?
grandson's wedding.
I get a comp him?
He'll get a good price.
Okay.
You gotta
He'll
get
get a
it.
good price.
I know.
And my big win,
Big win.
being on this.
There you go. We like that. We like that.
Brother.
All right, so you've survived. Let's one last toast. I really do appreciate you coming down and not
Empty toast.
Pleasure.
blowing us off and being
Very
here
much
on
enjoyed
time. Closing remarks, Ty.
Tye, this is Magic Junk sponsored by. We are the one-stop shop for junk removal, cleaning, and moving. Give us a call at 631-615-3853 or visit us at themagicjunk.com at any time. I answer my phone from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock every day.
Chris, you want to plug?
Sure. Chris Cartezano, Christopher Allen Custom Clothiers, 631-335-1210. We come right to you. We bring the store to your door. Suits, shirts, sport coats, pants, tuxedos, top coats, raincoats, outerwear, bomber jackets,
Bomber jackets.
casual vests, active vests, zip vests, jeans.
Store to your door. I
Store to
really
your
like
door.
that. I really like
I
that.
am Eddie Pods. I wrote the book on how to become a sales warrior. I want to help your team. I want to come in and shake the cobwebs out of your sales team and make them sharp and present and be lasered when they're out on the road. You can reach me at eddie@becomeasaleswarrior.com or becomeasaleswarrior.com. Until episode number 6, have a great night, all.